some degree of fitting in with everything around us and having purpose. It's very, very easy to grow up with this idea that it's me against the world. I think that's ingrained, especially in our culture. It's ingrained completely. You know, what's in it for me? What do I need to do to get what I need? What can I get before that person gets it? It's a culture of not enough. We believe there isn't enough for everyone. So we need to get what we need before everything gets taken by those others out there. You know? It's not true. It's simply not true. Because the things that we put our hat on, the things we hang our hat on, are meaningless. They are. Fame, fortune, notoriety, all of those things. Having other people think of you in a certain way. It's meaningless. It has nothing to do with our existence on this planet. Nothing. Why do we care so much about what others think of us? Why do we care about what it is we accomplish? It blows my mind, actually, when I think about it, because we set a value on ourselves based on a criteria that's given to us by others, by our culture, by history, by our parents, by our friends, by everything. We're told what to think. We're told what to do. We're told when we should feel good about ourselves and when we shouldn't. It's just like, it's so wrong. Wrong's not a great word, but it makes no sense because we are part of everything. It's how do you slice out something from the totality of everything and call it separate? It can't be separate. We're not separate. We exist because of our relationship with everything around us. The air, the earth, everything. If it weren't for those things, we couldn't survive. They are part of it. Our bodies are made of dirt, air, and water. That's all they're made out of. We are the earth. We tend to think of ourselves as special. And I don't mean that in a positive way. I mean, we think of ourselves as separate and special because we're human. But let me give you a different perspective on being human. The awareness that you feel, the I am feeling of I exist, exists in all things and all people to the level of the way that each individual thing can perceive things. If you look at different things, let's just pick animals for one. You know, animals have feelings. Animals can learn things. They're intelligent. Animals can hear, see, smell, and taste just like we can. But their faculties for experiencing the world around them are somewhat limited compared to ours. We can do a little bit more than they can. Our thinking is a little more broad-based, a little more deeper, has a number of levels that are different than the way animals think. If we look at plants, science has proven that plants can feel pain, that they react to their environment. They seek the sun, they seek water in the soil. They have intent. They grow. The only way anything can grow is with intention. It has to seek out the things that make it grow, or else it dies. So everything in this world has some type of conscious awareness, but it can only demonstrate it based on the faculties that it has at its disposal. We just happen to be fairly unique in that we can do a lot of things and we can think a lot of things. But we're really no different than anything else. Having more faculties and more ways to experience things doesn't make us inherently better than anything else. It just means that we happen to have the ability to do certain things. Other things on this planet have the ability to do things we can't do. So are they better than us? No, of course not. We're the best, right? Humans are the best. You know, we're the top of the totem pole. We're the top of the evolutionary ladder. Of course we are. But then what does that mean? It doesn't mean anything. All it means is that we use this ability to be aware of things, to notice in ways that other things don't. It kind of levels the playing field. I like to think along these lines because to me it levels the playing field of what's important and who's important and what we should be paying attention to and what we should honor and respect. You know, adults don't take advantage of children normally because they can't do as much as adults. They understand that they have limited capabilities compared to what an adult does. Well, that could be said about anything on this planet, couldn't it? I mean, we take advantage of a lot of things on this planet because they don't have the ability, whatever it is, doesn't have the ability that we have. So we consider it to be less important. And yet, without those very things, we couldn't survive. Trees, plants, water, everything is necessary. Everything has its place, and everything is in balance. And when things get out of balance, balance will be restored eventually. It may not be pretty, but it will be restored because it has to, because the universe, the only way the universe can exist is because it's in balance. If it becomes unbalanced, then it falls apart. Now, certain things can get slightly out of balance, but balance is always going to try. Balance is almost the intention to be in balance is an aspect of consciousness, an aspect of that which is. There are certain things, you know, all of the wisdom teachings have never been able to put a name on what it is that's behind everything. But we can look and see that it has certain characteristics. Whatever it is wants to stay in balance. Whatever it is doesn't like it when things aren't the way they should be. There's a saying in science, nature abhors a vacuum, meaning that when something's not here and there's too much of something here, it tends to fill in the vacuum and create balance so that there's as much here as there is here. It's why weather works. It's highs and lows, and I mean it just goes on and on and on. It isn't in Buddhist philosophy. The Buddhists don't like to name it. They don't like to explain it, and they don't like to assign its attributes to any thing or person. They simply want to call it, well, if in scientific terms, you would probably refer to it as potential. It's pure potential. The potential to do anything at any given moment is always there when causes and conditions, which is another Buddhist concept, when causes and conditions are correct, things happen. And it only happens when causes and conditions are correct. So when everything lines itself up to be a certain way, then something happens. It's like something manifests when there's something for it to manifest in. When something becomes available, then the potential fills it and fulfills whatever it can through the faculties of whatever it is in. It's it's fascinating to think about it, and it doesn't negate any religious concept or any spiritual concept, because it's taking things that people over the centuries have tried to personify or tried to give a name to, and simply stand back and say, I refuse to give it a name. I can't talk about it. In Buddhism, and most of the literature in Buddhism, when you read about it, it tends to talk about what it's not as opposed to what it is, because it's really easy to talk about what something isn't. Well, it's not this, it's not that, so you can talk all around it. But when you get down to trying to name it, well, boy, any name is not sufficient.